Hey, what's up, Hawks? It's your boy Hawk. Welcome back to another episode of Hawks Podcast. Episode 25. Let's get it. Last days of summer. Let's go. Days. Episode 4. Let's go. Last couple of days of summer. I'm looking forward to school time. I'm definitely last week. Hey, what's up, Hawks? It's your boy Hawk. Welcome back to another episode of Hawks Podcast. It is episode 25 of the series. It is Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. It is around 2 p.m., almost 2:30. When I'm recording this intro and outro, or intro and initial thoughts, I've actually already reacted to the main topic of today's podcast, but I decided to record the intro and outro quickly because the crazy thing is I didn't actually expect to record today, but I got time today to record. But I want to hurry this up because it is, again, closer to the middle of the afternoon, and it is harder for me to record around this time. So I'm going to try and hurry up this intro and outro. But it has been a very chill summer day today. I don't think I mentioned it, but it's been a partly cloudy day outside. It's been cloudy for the most part, a little bit of sun in the mix. It is currently around 70 degrees. It is Tuesday, September 19th. It's Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. It's almost around 2:30. And it is one of the last days of summer 2023, which is, oh man, summertime is coming to a close, and that means that school is just around the corner soon, right after. So once summer ends, it's just several days until school gets back in session, and I have to start planning, okay, when am I going to do this homework assignment? What am I going to do? I'm a university senior this coming school year, so I'm looking forward to this last year. I'm going to appreciate it a lot, but, I don't want to talk about school right now heavily. I could talk about that more when it's actually fall and autumn time, and I can actually do a proper reflection on the summer season once it's officially over. But for now, I'm just appreciating these last few days, or last several days. Don't want to undermine this. Last several days of summer 2023. And so, yeah, I didn't upload a podcast episode in the past week or so because I did get sick with C19. Not to get into specifics, but I did get sick over the weekend. Not this past weekend, like 2 days ago, but the previous week. So I wasn't able to record, and I don't know if I recorded. So I recorded something on Friday that dropped that Friday, but then that was the last time I was able to record because then Saturday came along. I was feeling alright on Saturday overall, but then Saturday night came. I started getting more tired. I was like, it's probably just time to go to bed. And then I woke up multiple times that night. And then Sunday morning, I woke up with crazy fatigue. I even had a little bit of a strong headache, so I had to take medicine right away the moment I woke up. Yeah, man, that was something. And then over the week, it got better. Like Sunday was a day where I felt the worst. I felt the worst on Sunday. And it was mainly dry throat, fatigue. Those are the main symptoms I felt, which was fatigue and the dry throat. I had a headache for a little bit, but that just kind of subsided as I took more medicine. Had more of a prominent cough, and those are the main things. Those dry throat and fatigue for me. And that's actually my first time getting C19 since the pandemic started around like 2020. So 3.5 years plus. And yeah, it was definitely an experience for sure. Sunday was by far the worst day that week. Not in terms of anything happening. It was just like the worst I felt. It was just like, bruh, I need Sunday to go. I need this Sunday to go in particular, because I love Sundays, but this Sunday in particular needs to go, because I was feeling that fatigue, man. But anyways, as the week went on, Monday I felt it was September 11th, so Monday felt a little bit weird, but felt better, way better than I did on Sunday. Tuesday got better, Wednesday got better. By the time Thursday came around, I was able to go outside again and do some things. Not anything too crazy, but I was able to actually go outside. And then by Friday, I was like, okay, I can actually do some things. I can actually work out again. Do a little mini workout on Friday. And so, yeah. So it was an interesting experience for sure. It was an interesting experience. But not to talk too much because it is kind of late in the afternoon. Not late in the afternoon, but it is kind of late to when I like to normally record. So I want to make this intro kind of brief because I have more in the proper last episodes of Summer 23 on this podcast. And so today's episode or topic is about why boredom is good for you. I wasn't bored this past, like the previous week. I was definitely feeling it, but it's definitely being bored is interesting. It's an interesting feeling. It's going to be talked about more in this podcast episode. In particular, the podcast video I'm going to react to from Derek. And Derek from, well, you're going to find the YouTube channel. It's my first time reacting to this YouTube channel on the podcast. And so let's get straight into it. Why boredom is good for you. Let's go. Let's go, man. Why boredom is good for you. And this video is from the YouTuber Veritasium. I did not say the name at all right. At all. I'm going to call the YouTuber by the profile. VE. That's the name of the YouTuber I'm reacting to on this podcast episode. VE. Why boredom is good for you. This video came out 4 years ago. Shout out to this YouTuber. I saw a little bit of this clip just to see if I could react to it and give some actual commentary. And it was really interesting. This video is almost 5 years old. September 29th, 2018. Man, that takes me back. Let's see. And I was reading some of the comments just to make sure that this video I was just reading some of the comments because, why not? But yeah, shout out to this YouTuber. Let's get straight into it. Why boredom is good for you. Boredom makes you more creative, altruistic, introspective, and helps with autobiographical plan. All right, let's get straight to it. The part of this video is sponsored by LastPass. Okay, let's see let's see this video. Oh wow, Arabic, French, Polish. All right, so I'm excited to see this video. I'm excited to see this video in full. So let's go.
Part of this video was sponsored by LastPass. Stick around to the end for a word from our sponsor.
Derek, okay.
In a recent study, participants were placed in a room for between 6 and 15 minutes.
Okay.
They were given nothing except a button that they knew would shock them if they pressed it. They were asked to entertain themselves with their thoughts, but they could self-administer the shock if they so chose. So what happened? Well, 25% of women and 67% of men shocked themselves. This is despite the fact that they had previously told the experimenters that they would pay money to avoid the shock. Apparently, they'd rather experience physical pain than just be bored, to have nothing to keep them occupied but their thoughts. But they are not alone. Around 95% of American adults report participating in some leisure activities over the past 24 hours. But only 17% say they spent any time at all just relaxing and thinking. Because that apparently is boring. And being bored is unpleasant.
Right.
So what is boredom? Well, contrary to popular belief, it's not when you have absolutely nothing to do.
Right.
It's just when none of the options you have available to you appeal to you. Boredom is characterized by a lack of concentration, restlessness, but also feeling lethargic. It's really a state of being underwhelmed. And there are now more ways than ever to avoid boredom. With Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, not to mention my chronic news habit, waiting in line, sitting in a coffee shop, stopped at a traffic light, many people reach for their phones to stave off boredom. And nowhere is sacred.
Do you ever just let yourself be bored? No, I generally don't.
But are we losing anything by avoiding boredom? Well, scientific research says yes. And what we're losing is important. When you're bored, your mind wanders. That's only natural. The state of boredom is one where your attention is not focused on anything in particular.
Right.
Researchers have shown this mind wandering is useful for creativity. They gave study participants a random boring task. The most boring one, reading the phone book.
Right.
Then they asked participants to be creative, generate as many ideas as they could for what you could do with a plastic cup. Those in the most boring read the phone book condition generated the most creative solutions compared to less bored controls. A major reason many researchers suspect that we experience boredom is because it gives you an indicator of your current state. I mean, if you find yourself feeling bored, you know something about that situation isn't working for you.
Let me ask you this. When you're in class and you're a bit bored, do you ever just pull out your phone and have a look at stuff?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
So the paradox of boredom is that it makes you feel tired, sluggish, and just disinterested. But it may actually spur you to action. It may get you to make changes that would be positive for your life.
Yeah.
And changes like getting this guy's legs out of my face. That would be perfect. In the absence of boredom, one would remain trapped in unfulfilling situations and miss out on many emotionally, cognitively, and socially rewarding experiences. Boredom is both a warning that we're not doing what we want to be doing and a push that motivates us to switch goals and projects.
Studies have also shown that boredom may make you more altruistic. Perhaps the acute sense of aimlessness you experience when you're bored gets out of control and makes you question what you're doing with your life as a whole. But the silver lining is that it may trigger you to think about others and what you can do to help them. And that provides an immediate and concrete purpose to a life that might momentarily feel like it's lacking one. You know, studies designed to induce boredom have shown that more bored participants are more likely to donate to charity or to give blood.
Can I ask what led you to donate blood today?
I had free time on my hands, just waiting till 2 hours, an hour and a half or so.
So apparently, the opportunity to do meaningful, even if unpleasant activities have more value if you're bored than if you're not. Similarly, this aimless state seems to cultivate thoughts about what you want to do with your life. To think of your life as a story and consider where you want it to go in the future. This is called autobiographical planning.
When given tasks that only use a fraction of mental capacity, study participants frequently thought of the future and their plans for it. In this way, being bored is essential for goal setting.
If your brain is always consumed with other stimuli, you'll rarely ponder the bigger picture and set long-term goals for yourself and consider how to achieve them.
Does a phone get rid of your boredom?
Yeah, actually, thinking about it, it does.
So every time you're waiting for something, you have a decision to make, which seems like a tiny one. Pull out your phone for a few seconds or minutes, or just be bored. Experience only your thoughts.
It seems like an insignificant decision, and if you don't give it much thought, the obvious action is to see what's new on your app of choice. And in making that decision, you are alleviating a moment of boredom. But you are also likely making yourself less creative, less altruistic, less likely to assess your current state, and less likely to set goals for your future. In short, you are the real-world example of someone shocking themselves to avoid the unpleasantness of boredom. Except in your case, the pain goes much deeper to the very nature of who you are and who you will become. So think carefully before pressing that button.
That was a good time, wow. That was great. That was a great video from Derek.
So being bored is apparently something our brains need to do. Something our brains don't need to do is remember lots of random passwords, which is why the sponsor of this video is LastPass. LastPass is a password manager that offers in the description.
And that does it for the video that we just watched, Why Boredom is Good for You. VE, shout out to Derek for that one. That was a great video. It was very entertaining overall. Very informative. Boredom makes you more creative, altruistic, introspective, and helps with autobiographical planning. And he was at the university when he was recording, asking questions. I really did appreciate that video a lot. So let me get to my final thoughts. Definitely dropped a like on the video. Gonna say that to my favorites, actually. 100% going to the favorites. Okay. All right. Leave a like in the top 4 comments. All right. See you guys at the final thoughts. And that was a great video from Derek. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to the whole YouTube channel of VE. Really informative video on why boredom is good for you. Also entertaining throughout. I appreciate all the visuals. He was even at a university throughout a decent amount of the video. He even got people to be involved in the video, like the students there. Like, why are you here at this bank? This was it blood drive? And the person was like, I'm here, spend an hour or so here, just kind of because I had time, because he had free time to do that and do so. Or asking people, what would you do in certain situations, or what have you done in certain situations where you've been bored, and just like, oh, I'm on my phone all the time if I'm bored. And I really appreciate those anecdotes. It was a really engaging video, really entertaining video overall from Derek. So shout out to Derek, shout out to VE. That's my first time watching a full video, I believe, on their YouTube channel, or at least in a long time. And so shout out to them. That video is almost 5 years old, which is crazy. 5 years ago, 2018. But why boredom is good for you? He mentioned it in the description, but boredom is definitely good for you because it makes you more creative, more altruistic, more introspective, and helps you with autobiographical planning. So the way I saw it is that boredom definitely can help you become more of a free thinker, in terms of you're able to get into your thoughts and see the way you're thinking, as opposed to if you're always doing something, you're not able to kind of see where you're supposed to be going, or you're kind of just distracted all the time. And being distracted all the time doesn't help you with where you're trying to go in the future. So if you're working all the time and you don't get time to like just breathe, then you're not able to properly process the current moment. I think that's one of the points he had in the video, which is being aware of your current state, or well, where you're thinking currently. And so if you're always kind of distracted with something, even if it's, I guess, media all the time, like you're always consumed with one particular thing, it's hard to just be aware of what else is going on. You just kind of focus on one thing at a time. And I can definitely relate to that, being focused on one thing at a time and not being able to kind of pull away from that and just focus on something else for a sec, or focus on something else. And it's very hard. And sometimes it's hard to break that. You know, you have to find ways to break that. Like on one of the videos I watched in the podcast before by the YouTube channel Psych2Go, which is the last podcast of Attitude, red flags you should not ignore yourself. Shout out to support on that video as well. I've been thank you guys so much for all the support in the videos. But one of the points that Psych2Go brought up, not in that video, sorry, still got a bit off. Not in that video particularly, but in the video that I read first from them, which is about mindful practicing, or mindful practices, just being more mindful of the way you're thinking, having more positive thoughts, and also just being more in control of the way you think, as opposed to you just kind of being there, just kind of taking it all in at once. It's good to kind of separate yourself and be more mindful of your current state instead of constantly thinking about the past, constantly thinking about the future, and also not constantly distracting yourself with distractions, not constantly being distracted by something, whether it's checking your phone for a new update or constantly being on social media. It's good to separate yourself and take a break from that, and then just do something else. Go outside and take a walk, because it's good to get that vitamin D. Go outside and get some fresh air. You know, so you need separation. You need things to switch up your daytime. And also, on the topic of being bored, it's good just being bored, period, like not doing anything, because like I said, it makes you more creative, more altruistic, helps you plan ahead for the future as well, and it also helps you do maybe some positive things, like going to a blood drive and donating some blood to people who really need it. So I mean, there's definitely pluses to being bored. You don't want to be bored all the time though. I mean, because being bored definitely can get uncomfortable. Like, I think it's something to appreciate, just being there and just sitting down, maybe like cliche, sitting on the grass, hands behind your head. You're sitting down there and looking up to the stars for like a few minutes, like just something like that. You know, being away from everything and just kind of just being aware of your current state, and also just kind of relaxing, neutral. You know, I think that's definitely something to appreciate. So, I mean, it's media and all that is great. Entertainment is great, but it's also good to separate from that. And also, if you're constantly thinking about work or something like that, it's good to step away from that and be like, hey, let's or school, something more topical for me. If you're always constantly thinking about school, you're not gonna have time to appreciate what's going on at the moment. You're just constantly thinking about school. You know, it's July. It's July 4th. It's July 4th party. Why are you still thinking about school right now? You know, enjoy this moment right now, and just enjoy this moment, being around people. And then when the time comes, you can think about school then and really focus on it then, and then move on to something else, or do something else, or think about something else for a little bit, because you can't constantly think about one thing at a time. Trust me, you do not want to constantly think about one thing at a time all the time. And back to the topic of being bored. Being bored, of course, is being good, more creative, more altruistic, stuff like that. So that basically does it for today's video. I kind of rambled on a little bit in intro, outro. So this, man, I wanted this to be like a shorter podcast episode, but it ended up being like another longer podcast episode. And I couldn't record in the past week, so this would have been something I would have dropped the past week, but I couldn't do anything. So because I was your boy was under the weather, so I couldn't really do much then. But I mean, other than that, that was a great bit from Derek. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to VE. Shout out to the YouTube channel. Shout out to everybody who produced that video, including Derek. And yeah, why boredom is good for you. Very educational, very informative, and engaging as always. And that's the most important thing when you're watching this video. Can I be engaged? Now we up. Now we shining. Hey, just want to add this little clip at the end of the video, but this is actually the last podcast episode before the end of the summer 2023. I just want to add this in there because I was planning to record a video today. It is September 22nd, 2023. It's actually exactly 12:30 p.m. But I ran out of time today to actually properly record a proper video for the podcast, or a proper like full-length video. So I'm dropping this instead, which this was recorded a few days ago or a couple of days ago. So yeah, I'm dropping this instead. This is still a good enough release for a podcast episode and a good way to end off the summer 2023 season. So I just want to say that I had a great summer. It's actually been a really chill summer for myself, but I grew a lot during the summertime, a lot mentally, physically, spiritually. Once again, like I said, at the end of spring 2023, but I really did grow a lot mentally, physically, spiritually, and I did really appreciate the summer for being kind of like a reflective summer, helping me grow in all those aspects that I mentioned, and also just being like a really relaxed summertime. There have been some eventful. There's some events that happen during the summertime, like always. You know, summer is one of the most active times of the year. But for me, I feel like this summer was very relaxed and chill. I don't want to use like I just want to say it was just chill and relax. You know, so I really did appreciate the summertime. So yeah, and thanks for all the support on the podcast and Hawk's podcast and the Second Hawk channel as well. That channel is mainly music, and then this channel specifically Hawk/A-Prime-X. But A-Prime-X in Japanese, but that's like the stylized way I decided to name the channel Hawk/A-Prime-X, but in Japanese. And then also thanks for the support on the Second Hawk. So that's pretty much it for this podcast episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to let me know. And thanks for watching. Peace, Hawks. Have a nice day. See you guys in fall 2023, autumn 2023. Thank you guys so much for a great summer. And yeah, let's get it. Peace, Hawks. Have a nice day. Goodbye. That's kind of long though. It's kind of long.